Hello everybody. Welcome back. My name is Superfly Comics Guy, and today I will be your host as we dive into the Captain America by Ed Brubaker Omnibus Volume 1. We'll be taking a look at the cover, the spine, the contents collected, the build quality, and of course, a flip through where I discuss some of my thoughts, opinions, and recommendations. If you like this video, you know how to show it, and if you're a nerd like me, leave a comment and let's talk about this book. But with that out of the way, strap on your metal arms and double check your mental programming, because we are going to take a look at the book that inspired Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Let's go. Alright, so here we have the dust jacket to this book. This is the direct market cover, which is also the cover to issue number 4 of this run by Steve Epting. The standard cover is also a Steve Epting cover. It's an image of Cap just kind of yelling and running at the camera. I felt that one was kind of generic. There's too many images of Cap that are like that. This one seemed far more interesting to me. Let's take a look at the spine. Marvel Omnibus, Captain America by Ed Brubaker, Steve Epting, and Mike Perkins. Image of Cap there. And let's take a look at the back. Very nice. Got your cover gallery. The life of a legend, the death of a dream. In this book, you're getting Captain America number 1 through 25. This is the 2005 series, Captain America 65th Anniversary Special, and the Winter Soldier Winter Kills one-shots. And this book has a cover price of $100 US, $125 in Canada. Didn't have to pay that though. Thank you, organic priced books. But let's take a look under the dust jacket of this book. Much better. There we go. Let's take a look at that dust jacket real quick. As usual, we got a blurb about the contents inside, the story, and a bit about the creators. As for the actual cover, we got a wraparound on this one. I think the original printing used a different image. Ooh, very nice. Got this image by Steve Epting. Very beautiful art. And you can expect more on the inside as well. Speaking of which, let's start taking a look at that. All right, and here we are with the book itself. Before we go any further, I do want to mention I'll be avoiding spoilers, except I will have to talk about the identity of the Winter Soldier. So if that bothers you, now's your chance to get out. Are you gone? Last chance. Bucky is the Winter Soldier. What can I say? If you got spoiled by that, I gave you a fair warning. That's your own fault. But anyway, let's start talking about this book. So right off the bat, I gotta be honest, I've never been a huge fan of comics Cap, you know, when he would make appearances in other series, or if he would appear in animated series. I don't know, he just seemed kind of one note to me. He never grabbed my attention for whatever reason, and I had no intention of collecting his material. And it was a similar thing for the movies as well. I mean, Cap 1, Avengers 1, I very much felt the same way about him until Captain America the Winter Soldier, which redefined MCU Cap for me, and probably for a lot of others as well. You know, suddenly we had a more mature approach. Cap was, for lack of a better term, cooler, more badass. There was a bigger focus on martial arts. They crafted a political thriller that had superhero characters in it. I loved how they really challenged Cap. They asked the question of what becomes of Captain America when America changes and you have to challenge everything that Cap believes in. I thought that was brilliantly done. That's still my favorite portrayal of Cap and one of my favorite MCU movies. So when I learned that this run was a huge inspiration for MCU Cap, I had to give it a shot. I figured if I'm going to read Cap, I may as well try what's regarded by many as his best run. And I was pleasantly surprised, honestly. I had a good time with this. Honestly, my first gut reaction was that this was maybe a little overrated compared to what I'd heard about how legendary this run was. But upon reflection, I realized that was mostly because I had watched the movie and was desensitized to some of the big Winter Soldier reveals. But you have to keep in mind that when this series was coming out, Bucky had been dead for decades. So to bring him back from the dead and reintroduce him as this badass new character called the Winter Soldier was a huge deal. Apparently prior to this, when a character truly died in the comics and stayed dead, they were referred to as Bucky dead. It doesn't really work anymore, does it? But that's a cool little interesting fact I found. But yeah, this was pretty similar to the movie. Very tonally consistent. And in some cases, the movie even ripped panels and dialogue straight out of these pages. But the overall plot was still different enough to keep me guessing throughout. And even though I knew about the big thing that happens at the end of this book, I was completely surprised by the way it happens and the twist that takes place. And there's lots of other differences too. I mean, Red Skull is more heavily involved here. The Cosmic Cube plays a bigger role. Crossbones is in here. The Civil War event kind of overlaps with this story. Sharon Carter plays a bigger supportive role, whereas in the movie, that was Black Widow. Here's an iconic line that the movie used. Bucky? Who the hell is Bucky? I love that. But one of the few things I didn't really like about this book was the resolution to the whole Winter Soldier conflict. The way they brought him back to being Bucky. I don't know, the way in which that was handled, it felt a little bit too convenient to me, and I think it's something the movie actually handled better. Another minor thing is, like I said, I've never read any Cap-centric comics before. So I was a little bit confused by some characters and references here and there. But overall, I was familiar enough with most of the characters to be able to understand what was going on. And even the ones I wasn't as familiar with were explained really well, so it's safe to say that this is a good starting point. If you've watched the movies, you'll be fine. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this whole series is written by Ed Brubaker, and he has this reputation of being one of the best crime writers. He's written lots of indie crime series. He did a splendid run on Daredevil after Bendis. He's worked on Batman, Catwoman. So he's very good at writing intense street-level stories. And that translates really well to those characters I mentioned, and especially this more grounded Cap tale about political intrigue, espionage, sleeper agents, conspiracies, mystery, and a healthy dose of action as well. And you got to talk about Steve Epting too. I think his art was very well done here too. Very realistic. Heavy use of shadows and shading, which really meshes well with the mature story and underlying themes of mystery and shades of gray moralities that are so prevalent in this run. He's excellent at portraying action scenes too, I gotta mention that. But anyway, let's take a quick flip through some of the extras. Okay, here we are with some of the extras. I need to skip some of them because some of them contain spoilers, so I'll just have to jump around with that. Here we have a spotlight interview with Ed Brubaker. There you go, Bucky the Winter Soldier. Such a cool design, translated really well into the movie as well. The Art of Captain America by Steve Epting. A piece on the Winter Kills one-shot that explores Bucky's backstory. Some character designs for the Winter Soldier. Sin. Sleeper. Some alternate cover sketches. Some variant covers. Some layouts and sketches. Some black and whites by Steve Epting. Man, I didn't realize while I was reading how many of these extras contain spoilers, but here we have a character profile on Captain America. I like it when they include these. Bit of the character's history. And usually, yeah, they include like a chart with like his power level. They have one usually for a bunch of the major characters where they scale all their powers, intelligence, strength, speed, durability, energy projection, fighting skill is on this graph here. I don't know, I find that interesting. I had, as a kid, one of the Marvel encyclopedias for Spider-Man that just contains a whole bunch of Spider-Man characters and had similar character profiles like this, so that's always cool to see. But there we go. Let us take a look at the build quality. And here we are with the build quality. 744 pages is what you're getting. Nice small to medium size omnibus. Let's take a quick look at that eye. It's pretty decent for a book of this size. Not too bad. You're not getting very much gutter loss. Let me flip to a quick spread page for you. And here we are, spread page. There you can see. You're not losing too much art. There's not too much gutter loss. The eye could be a little bit bigger, but I mean, I've stretched this a few times and given it a read through. So I guess that's as big as it's getting for me, but not too bad. What I will say is the pages are just okay. They're pretty thin. You might notice there is a little bit of color bleed happening. It's not as big of a problem with this book because, like I said before, there's lots of dark colors and shading, so the colors on the images on the opposite side don't bleed through as much in that case. But yeah, I wish the paper was a little bit thicker. This is printed in China. Not as thin as the Jessica Jones omnibus, but I would like this to be a little bit thicker. All right, and wrapping up my thoughts here with this book, I thought this was a pretty good book overall, especially considering I hadn't read any Cap stories previously. It definitely kicks into high gear and peaks towards the end, but then it just kind of abruptly ends and the story continues in volume 2, which in my opinion might even be better, but I can talk about that if I ever do a review on that book. If you're like me and you really enjoyed Captain America the Winter Soldier, then you'll most likely be interested in this book too. They're pretty similar. Some things are handled better by the movie, some things are a little bit better handled by the book, but I think for me the movie's still a little bit better, but that's not really a criticism, it's more of a testament as to how good the movie is. So if you're a fan of Brubaker, of course, if you're a fan of Cap, you probably already know about this book. If you're a fan of political thrillers, and especially if you're a fan of the MCU Cap and you want to read some Cap stories, definitely take a look at this book. But anyways, guys, that's been my review of the Captain America by Ed Brubaker Omnibus Volume 1. Let me know what you thought about this book. Let me know if you've seen The Winter Soldier. What's your favorite MCU movie? What's your favorite Cap run? And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them below. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to catch you in another video real soon. Have yourself a great day. I've been Superfly Comics Guy, and until next time, keep reading. Bye, guys.